Hello, my name is J.R. Stewart. I'm the creator of the Ways of the Caveman, and now my new series, my new collection, is the Ways of the Warrior. I'm also doing a series, a collection for women called the Chronicles of Eve. So if you're interested, go check it out. There are, I think, about 2 videos in that collection so far. So I'm working my way up to 10. I think each installment is going to be about 10 videos. So this is the latest installment in the Ways of the Warrior. And in this video, I want to talk about fathers. As men, godly men, as warriors, the congregation of the mighty, which we covered in the previous video, we understand that within the context of our families and marriage and children, that we are the band that keeps it all together, keeps the house together, the family together. That's why we call a house husband, which the etymology of the word means house, the man of the house, or house band. And as that, we are the saviors within the context of our families. You have to save your wife, and the Bible outlines how you're supposed to do that, to make her without blemish and without wrinkles, without stain, to make her perfect, a radiant church, to make her blameless. These are things that the Bible calls upon us to do, to love our wives the right way. And if you do that, you know that you receive the gift because God then works in her life to transform her into that perfect creation for you. That's the gift for obedience. So we understand that we need to, one, find wives, because God says you gain favor when you have a wife, when you take on a wife. That it's not good for you to be alone. Not that you're not meant to be alone. It's just that it's not good for you to be alone. Which, that also means that it's bad for you to be by yourself. So all this playing the field, looking around, searching for the right woman, it's not good. And the other thing, warriors, when it comes to our children, do not bring children into the world unless you are ready to accept the enormous responsibility that comes from being a father, from being a husband, from being the savior in your family. You have to provide, protect, and you have to secure. And for your children, you have to bless them also. You have to rejoice over them. You know, I talk to people, and everybody is mystified as how so many kids can get led astray with this transgender nonsense. And like, who's putting these thoughts into the kid's head? Well, it's not the parents. Well, sometimes it is. But most of the time it's teachers. You have teachers at school that are putting these thoughts into your children's head and then praising them and giving them attention when they act on it. What children want is just for someone, you, parents, especially a father, to rejoice over them. To rejoice over them. I'll give you an example. My daughter was in 8th grade. She went to a school that had a zero tolerance policy, which meant they didn't take excuses. When they said something was due today, it was due today, not tomorrow. Don't go and make an excuse that your dog ate your homework. And so my daughter came from a pretty lax school, and she transferred into this school. And so I made sure that all of her teachers had my cell phone number. And I told them, anytime there's a problem, please call me. And I'm going to do everything I can to make sure I'm up in back of this school before your class is out. And there were many times I did that. And the biggest problem my daughter has, she likes to talk in class. She got friends, you know, she's chit-chatting and talking when the teacher's trying to teach. So she's always having to get on my daughter's butt. And then someone would call me. And I would take off from work, drive her to the school, and I would be there before that bell rang and she went to the next class. And I made it clear to her, if I got to sit in the back of the class with you to make sure that you behave in this classroom, that's what I'm going to do. And later she would confide with me when I come to pick her up and we drive home. Oh, Dad, I was so embarrassed by you being there. But you know what? I noticed that she said it with a smile on her face. And the reason she was really happy about it, because a lot of her friends were praising her. That she had a dad who cared enough about her to come up to the school to correct her behavior. These girls like, I wish my dad cared about me that much. She immediately moved up the hierarchy within her pack of friends. And this is what I'm talking about, guys. Make sure that you delight, praise, that you rejoice over your children. They want your attention. Don't put a cell phone in their face to keep them company, a computer or a television. Don't let these devices substitute for good parenting. This is your responsibility to be out there to protect your children. It's your responsibility to let their talent flow out of them. It's your responsibility to set guidelines. For you to say, listen, I expect for your report card to be filled with A's and B's. We don't accept anything in this household less than that. I remember I had a coworker. His parents immigrated here from Vietnam. And he told me, he said, JR, the worst beating, not whooping, the worst beating I ever received in my life came from when I brought my report card home. And I had 4 B's and 3 A's. 4 B's and 3 A's. There are a lot of families, especially who have sons, that would throw them a parade if they came home with 4 B's and 3 A's. His mother and his father, gave him a beating. Because all his father knew, the A's were good, and that B's were tolerable, but you can't have more B's than A's. And certainly a C or anything else was totally unacceptable. It's just not going to happen. And this is the fear that he went to school with on a daily basis, knowing that his father had set some guidelines for him. But in the end, it paid off because he was able to get a scholarship to school, go into engineering, and do well for himself. And this is what you want parents, fathers. Set the goals. Don't just send your kids off to school with a hope that they're going to be okay, that they're going to figure it out. If you have to add some added motivation by pulling the belt out, then pull it out. And you do this not because you hate your children or you're mad at your children. You're doing this to help motivate them, to keep them on the right track. We know what happens when you spare the rod. So I'm not saying beat your children, but certainly make sure they understand that there's a consequence for not meeting your goals. Now, I'm the dad here. And if they need help, they better say something. They better speak up. So maybe dad can get you a tutor or find a way to work with you to get you to help. Go to the school and talk to your teacher to see what can be done. They have my child out who's asking for help. In that situation, then as long as we're working through the problem, then you don't have to worry about the consequence. That doesn't mean that gives you an excuse to be lazy. It just means if you honestly need help, Dad's going to make sure you get the help. That's what I do. I'm here to protect you. I'm here to save you. I'm here to make sure that you have everything you need to be successful in life. That's my role. That's what I do. I'm active. You don't sit back. Oh man, I gotta go home with bad kids, a wife who doesn't listen, children who doesn't respect me. Let me stop and get a drink. Let me stop and hit a joint or two. Let me just stay out late. Hopefully, by the time I get home, everybody's eating and in bed, and I don't have to deal with it. Warriors do things differently. Real men do things differently. We understand that we have to solve problems. That our happiness is on the other side of problems. And so you have to get into a habit of solving problems. You have to accept your responsibility as savior for your family and that you're ultimately responsible, not your wife. Far too many women are raising kids by themselves. And that's a shame. That should only happen if you're dead. Otherwise, You should be in that household with your wife, with your children, making sure that they're raised properly. And if you don't do that, then that's on you. That's on you. Fathers, be warriors. It's okay. And maybe there's some women out there who said, oh, you're just acting like a caveman. You listen too much to that J.R. Stewart guy. Deep down, I'm going to tell you, women do not want wimpy men. They don't want betas. I can give you the stats. In the ways of the caveman, I often recited the stats for betas, men who have beta-type personality. Weak men. Men who bought into that masculinity is toxic. And you would think that weak men, that's what the feminists say they want, to level the playing field, would fare well with women. They don't. 65% of them are divorced after 7 years, especially if she's a college-educated woman. And it doesn't matter white or black, it's the same rate. 65% are divorced. The other 35%, the women in those marriages are not happy. They're miserable. They just don't want to go the divorce route. So they just stick it out. But if you're a beta and you're married, you know this to be true. Your sex life has fallen off a cliff, non-existent. That frustrates you. You're the leader in your household. Generally the wife is, because she doesn't trust you. She has no faith in you to do the right thing. She doesn't accept your authority. You have done. You're so far from what God intends for you to be as a beta. And gamma-type personalities are no better. These are men who steal love from women, lie to them, deceitful, do whatever they have to do to get what they want, which is God's love. And then they move on. Sigma-type personalities, I don't advise you to get involved with a Sigma-type male. Because here's what I know about that personality type. That surgeons and serial killers are both Sigmas. It takes a special kind of person to cut into a body. Most of us cannot stand the sight of blood. Can't even watch someone getting an injection from a needle. But serial killers have no problem torturing people. Most people can't stomach that. Sigmas have no problem torturing people or cutting on people, which is why they make great surgeons. So ladies, so what does that leave? That means the alpha type, true men, real men, godly men, are what's left for you. Men who are obedient to God, or at least open to being obedient to God. And that's not saying they have to be in church. If they go to church, great. But if they're obedient to God and don't go to church, that's great too. As a lady, you can take that. But God has to be able to work through you to the husband. Warriors, you have to be willing to be open to that process. Let the woman in your life, your wife, take her impact. Listen to what she has to say. Thank her for it. Pray on it. And then correct it. So that way it's not a botherance to you, where she has to keep telling you the same thing over and over, destroying confidence, destroying trust. And you are staining her now. You are the blemish. You are putting the cuts on her that's going to kill her. And when she dies, a spiritual death from the Chinese torture, death by 1,000 cuts, you've done this. And there's nothing worse than a woman who's cut off from God, when the love does not flow through her anymore. She doesn't even feel it. She doesn't have anything to give because she's been so disappointed, so hurt. You don't want to be that guy who's done that. You don't want to be that kind of man. And even though your wife is not going to leave you, that doesn't mean that you are loving her correctly. So warriors, you want to be a warrior, be a warrior. If you're not sure how to become a warrior, the URL to my website is flashed below. Go to my website. My contact information is there. I will gladly coach any man and work with them. One-on-one or in a group session, doesn't matter, whatever you feel comfortable with, on helping you become the warrior that God wants you to be. It takes practice, takes understanding and patience, but I'm willing to do that. I do have a fee of $1,000 a year, which is $20 a week. $20 a week. But if you're willing to open yourself up to learning and practicing and implement these things in your life, then I'm willing to work with you. Even if you don't have the money, I will still work with you. Regardless of what you can afford to pay or not pay. If I have to give the service away because you can't afford it, then fine. I'm more interested in helping build strong men than making money. So if you don't have the money, don't worry. Like, well, JR, I'd love to come take you up on your coaching service, but I can't afford it. Okay, fine. If you truly can't afford it, then fine. You don't have to pay anything, and I'll still work with you. With that being said, guys, I want to challenge each and every one of you who's watching this video. If there are any women out here, please share this video with every guy that you know. The challenge is for you to open yourself up, open your heart up, sacrifice. If there's a woman that you want to involve in your life, you want to have children, or if you already have a wife and have children, it's never too late to turn this thing around. Don't sit there with a wife who's not a gift to you, who's not a prize. Don't send your kids off every single day without the protection and the coverage they need. Do not walk away from your responsibility. Do not walk away from your role as a savior for your family. You have to take all of this seriously, and you have to be willing to put the work in. You are the worker bee. She is the conduit and the map to God that you need. And when you're off track with God, guarantee you your wife is going to let you know. She's going to identify those things. If she doesn't have faith and trust in you, she's going to let you know. When she no longer believes in you, she will let you know. When she can't submit herself unto you, to your authority, provided you provide some authority. Most men don't even provide authority. Their wives have to provide authority for the family. These are all signs that there's a problem. And if you don't know how to correct this ship, to right this ship and put it on the right course, then look me up. Go to my website, thejrstewart.com. Reach out to me. I'll be glad to work with it. And you can't use money as an excuse because I've told you I will still work with you even if you can't afford to pay. Because it's more important that we build strong men, good fathers, good husbands, who are good brothers, who become good friends and good co-workers, good relatives, men of character. That's more important than money. And I look forward to you and me reaching out to each other. You have to make the first step. I'm here. And if you haven't already, please hit that like button. Subscribe to my channel. Please spread the word. Share my link with as many people as possible. And if you need a speaker for your church ministry, for your social club, or if you think I'll be a fit to be a speaker at your company where you work, for the school that your children attend, for the college or junior college in your area, I'm available. You have my contact information. Please share it and recommend me outside of your circle. So I want to thank you so much for being the warrior that God intends for you to be. And let's work together to build this army of warriors. We're going to become the congregation of the mighty. I talked about in the first video. We're going to become the keepers of the peace, the peacekeepers, or the peacemakers. Because the peacemakers, as the Bible points out, are gods. That you are gods, and the gods will be called the children of God. The children of God are the peacemakers, and the peacemakers are the warriors, are the gods. That's you, husbands. So be the God, be a godly man, be the God and within your family that God, the big G, wants you to be. Thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to share with you in my next video. Thank you so much. Bye.